Welcome to Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. Make your foot the foot that counts. In the depths of the conditioned world, a spark divine. The unconditional self, Ausar, forever shines. Though veiled by set, the egoic shade. The true I persists, unceasing, unswayed. Me, myself and I, embodying Ausar or Iota Alpha Omega, IAO, in the conditioned world. At the core of our being resides the eternal, unconditional self. The true I that transcends the limitations of the manifest world. This supreme identity, represented by powerful divine figures like Ausar in ancient Egyptian theology, and Iota Alpha Omega, IAO, in Hellenistic mysticism and Gnosticism, is the source and ground of all existence. When we say me, myself and I, we acknowledge the different aspects of our identity. Me represents the self as object, how we perceive ourselves in the world. Myself is the reflective self, the sense of a cohesive identity over time. But the I is the pure subjective awareness, the ever-present witness consciousness. The challenge arises when this unconditional I is expressed through the conditioned realm of physical existence. Bound by time, space, cause and effect, our bodies, minds, and personalities are shaped by countless factors beyond our control. The divine self becomes veiled by the illusion of separation and limitation, obscured by the ego or conditioned self. In the Egyptian tradition, this ego is symbolized by Set, the adversary of Ausar. Set represents the forces of division, chaos, and egoic consciousness that oppose the unity and order of the divine self. The battle between Ausar and Set symbolizes the permanent, constant, or repeated struggles between the unconditional and the conditioned, the true self and the false self. The spiritual work is to pierce this veil, to realize our true nature as the unconditional self amidst the conditioned world. Myths like those of Ausar encode this journey. Though dismembered and scattered, though undergoing trials and tribulations, the essential self remains whole and inviolate. It is reborn and resurrected, the imperishable divine spark. Practices like meditation and self-inquiry aim to cut through false identifications with the conditioned self and awaken to our unconditional being. We are called to realize IAO, that we are the eternal I that contains and transcends all dualities and limitations. This process is not one of eliminating the conditioned self, but of transmuting it. The ego, when rightly aligned, becomes the servant of the higher self, a vehicle for expressing divine will and purpose in the world. This is the deeper meaning of Ausar's resurrection, the rebirth of the self. Not as a separate entity, but as the integral, animating principle of all existence. This transformation requires sustained self-observation, detachment, and surrender. Bringing awareness to the machinations of the conditioned mind and disidentify from them, cultivating the witness consciousness. Simultaneously, actively align oneself with the unconditional self through practices of mindfulness. Ultimately, the journey is one of remembrance and reunion, uncovering the ever-present truth of what we already are. By steadfastly orienting ourselves back to this truth, we gradually awaken from the dream of separation and limitation. Realizing the unity of Ausar and Aset, the divine masculine and feminine principles. Embodying Iota Alpha Omega, the totality of being that transcends all dualities. In the midst of the conditioned world, we learn to rest in the unconditional, anchoring our being in the eternal I. Each step, each moment of remembrance, is a return to our essential nature. This is the profound journey of me, myself and I, or Ausar, or Iota Alpha Omega. Each one is simply defining the divine self. In the midst of the conditioned world, these the sacred names might illuminates the path, from darkness unto light. Me, myself and I, aspects of the One. Journey to reunite, till the Self and Source are one. Much appreciation to you for giving of your time with us at Motivation at Hand. To know is to know how. We trust you will come back soon.